Okay, so I've painted up this little kind of test piece. Each of these little spare bits, I've just put a few colours on them. A metal section, a rusty bit, and then a few colours. And I'm thinking it's just will be a good way to test out these AK washes and Umbro washes or whatever, to kind of see what colour they dry as, what finish they dry as. Is it matte? Is it gloss? And so it's useful at least as a reference to myself. I've labelled these little areas off. So we'll try out this winter streaking grime on this first thing over here. And it's not particularly going to be the right way to use these paints, because normally you would do a bit more in terms of the weathering first using paint. But I just want to see in each case how these paints come out, how these enamels come out. So I'm just going to put this on pretty much across the whole surface. I'm not going to paint it all in, because that's not the intention. You're meant to just have this being streaking down the way. The instructions telling you to paint it on, and then maybe using a bit of enamel thinners on a brush, you kind of draw it down in vertical strokes. But for this little experiment, I'm just going to use it as is, and come back at it with the enamel thinner. I'm just going to move it around and then let it dry. So I'm just using just different amounts here and there just to get some on. You can already see it's showing up as being quite green in finish. Like that. So as I say, I'm not going to cake the whole thing in it. So all we need now is some enamel thinner. And the acrylic paints that I've used as a basis for this aren't going to be affected by the enamels. You'd have to watch some setups, if you used enamel paint and then start going at it with enamel thinners, then you'd be lifting off paint, messing up the paint job. But because we're coming down on top of acrylics, then it should be fine. Yeah, the metal as well. The metal is an acrylic paint. So this is just going to make the streaking grime just a bit more fluid. And you can just kind of reactivate it or move it around. Maybe take some away where you want to take some away. And then what I'll do next is find a larger brush. With some enamel thinners on it. maybe just try brushing down the way in vertical motions. Just to drag this stuff down the way, where it wants to at least. Those little steps, that's it. Okay, there we go, we'll just leave it there, because I kind of want to see how it looks as it dries, or when it dries, see what we get. And we'll move across the top of this. So next we'll go for the brown and green camouflage, which is a panel liner. Type. So we'll see how this goes on. So this is going to be much more fluid as a panel liner, and I'm just going to really overdo it. But I just want to see again what it looks like. I'm not trying to use them properly here. I'm just wanting to see the kind of colours that they dry as and the finish you get. So I'm just going to cover the whole thing. That. And then again, I'm just going to lift away the top of that a little bit with some thinners. Just to bring some of it off. Like that. And then next, across to the neutral grey, which is another wash. Just change my brush just to and this one is called a wash, so we can just use it over the entire thing. Just make sure to get it into all the edges and nooks and crannies. So we'll go for the next one, which is this grey and blue camouflage, which is another panel liner, which sounds much more fluid. Just, yeah, you can see how it moves around the surface, travelling into all the little recesses. Again, you'd probably only want to apply things like this directly where you want them, directly into the recesses, so that it flows around and gives you that panel lining, but I'm just going to go right over everything with it. Sort of heavy-handed, just to see the effect of it there. Okay, and then we'll try this streaking grime next. For dark yellow vehicles, it says. Try and clean the brush off a bit. Okay, so again we'll just dump that on. The rust effect that I used for the paint was just a layer of brown paint and then some of the typhus corrosion on top of that, and then some of the riser rust to get that effect. So that's that. And as I say, with all these paints, you can't wash out the brush with water at all. It needs to be thinners. So you're best buying the kind of artist's thinners, the low odor stuff. Definitely. Okay, we'll do this engine grime next. Which looks quite thick. Does say that you can apply it with an airbrush. Looks incredibly thick for that. I might need to thin this down more than I have. Nonetheless, I'll just use it as I have it. That. And I'm just going to go over the top of that with the thinners, just to take some of that away. It's the sort of thing you need quite a bit of kitchen roll for this. And I'm noticing it doesn't really want to come off of the rust that I painted earlier, which had a bit of texture to it. It's kind of clinging on to that. We'll leave it there. And then we'll do the rust streaks now. I've already mixed these quite well. So again, this is quite a thick one that I'm going to apply just to the upper area of that. And then we'll try and pull that down. Should probably let it dry a bit more. Like that. Let's do that track wash as well. Try not to flick this on everything else. There we go. Next one, we'll go with this engine oil. So they're a glossy finish, so probably useful for your more active machines. So let's just dump that on here. Immediately looks quite good in that silver. Okay. And then an interesting one here, this black camouflage, which I think I'll get a clean brush for. Got a couple of bits there painted with some black. This is a panel liner, so again, probably shouldn't be applying it like this. To be fair, I need to take some off. Just using a tissue here, kitchen towel, just to try and take off some of the excess there. Okay, we'll leave it like that. Next, try the rust streaks one, which I've already used. I should have. Just going to paint some on there and then use some thinners to spread that around a bit. Like that. Just to kind of get that flowing around. Same with this bit. Okay. Okay, down the bottom left, we'll use this sand and desert camouflage panel liner. This is a good way to wreck all your brushes. Don't use good ones. Yes, this one's nice and thin. I think some of these the paint jobs might want a gloss or a near gloss varnish on them to help some of these products move around. But we'll carry on. So I've got a white and winter camouflage panel liner here. So again, I'm just going to dump a lot on. Too much on. Now, I'm sure there are differences between all these, but when you see them like this, they kind of start looking quite similar. this last one, we're going to go with this Humbrol rust wash. And again, I'll go quite heavy with it. And I'm just going to go over the whole thing. I'm not going to be too careful with it. You can kind of tell what's going to happen. I think it's going to dry nice and matte and leave a dusty rust kind of colour behind in the corners and edges mainly, which is going to look quite good, I think. Or will I just run the brush over it? I might just run the... just to get that kind of vertical stripes across it. Okay, so that's the whole board done there. We'll let that dry and then we'll take a look at it later.